quick tip in how breaking and flinching works in Monster Hunter. Each part of a monster has a different damage threshold that it can withstand before it causes the monster to flinch. Let's take a look at each one of those thresholds for Zinogre. Don't let those numbers trick you though. The front legs do appear weaker than the hind legs, but only 25% of your damage is going to go through versus 45% for the hind legs. Although it's kind of an advanced topic, the front legs do become weaker if the Zinogre is charged up, so feel free to hit them if it is. You can earn special materials for breaking certain parts. For Zinogre, the head, the back, and the front legs will net you materials if you can break them. Also, the tail on most monsters can be severed if you do enough damage. For Zinogre, it's 280. For other parts, non-cutting damage is okay, but the sever tails, it has to be cutting damage. Flinches work a little bit different depending on the part, so let's take a look at a few examples. Here we're attacking the front leg. If you notice, the blast that we just did does 100 damage, which is going to allow us to break this part really fast. Now let's attack the hind leg. Often for a lot of monsters, hitting the hind leg will topple the monster when it flinches, which can lead to a lot more attack opportunities. When you flinch a monster, it will interrupt whatever they're doing. So if Zinogre is charging up, it will stop him. If there's another player mounted on top of him, it will knock them off. And with cutting damage, you can then lop off tails. Tails, unlike the other parts, actually fall down and you can carve them for materials on the spot. Some parts require you to break them several times in order to get the reward. For Zinogre, his head has to be broken twice. So if you break it once and you see the effect and stop, you're not going to earn his horns. Bombs, blast damage, gun lance shelling, and other things that do fixed damage are really great for breaking parts that have a very high defense and are hard to do damage to. Some monsters have weak spots that get exposed once the part is broken. Break a Gravios' chest and it goes from 26% damage to a whopping 70%. The 3 major Elder Dragons have special break conditions that you should know about. For Chameleos, the head will only break when it's under 30% health. Also note that the tail, unlike previous games, does not require you to hit the exact tip or use dragon damage only, but it is 4,500 damage. For Kushala, the head only breaks under 25% health and the tail can only be severed when under 30%. And for Teostra, you can only break his horns when he's under 25% health. This leads us to the final part, which is the Partbreaker skill. This is an incredibly useful skill that makes it easier to break or sever parts of larger monsters. It doesn't actually increase the damage that you do to their health, but you do get 30% extra damage in the build-up that's needed in order to break that part. Against broken parts or parts that cannot be broken though, it doesn't have any effect at all. Still, it's a great skill to have, especially if you're going to break every monster's part, or if you're doing subquest marathons like I'm doing here. For example, this makes breaking Teostra's wing talon very easy, which is the subquest condition for this quest. It's an easy way to earn some quick materials if you need them and you don't feel like doing the entire hunt yourself alone. Of course, I'm playing very badly here, but I thought I'd show you anyways. Still, for literally only 1 minute of work, you can see that it's actually a pretty good amount of materials that you can get sometimes. And although this will have to be its own video, I wanted to note that when you headlock a monster by constantly attacking its weak spot, causing it to flinch over and over again, we call that headlocking, or hame in Japanese. I'll do a more in-depth guide on that at a later time. I hope this shed some light into how parts are broken and hope you enjoy it some more. Happy hunting.